Hello and welcome to this IPscape video about how to create a workflow, or as some people call it, an IVR. You can use workflows for many things, but the most common is an IVR. For those who don't know, an IVR is the customer experience when they call into your contact center. So it's where they hear a welcome message and get given options. So in this webinar we're going to show you a very simple version of an IVR. Once we're logged into the workspace, we need to go to the resources area to create a workflow, which is here, and then we go down to here. Here we see a list of all the existing workflows, but we want to create a new one, so we go to Add New Workflow. I can give it a name, so this will now become my main menu workflow. Okay, and then I can just copy and paste the description down and go to save. We now need to edit that workflow, so that's my main menu workflow, and we need to use the magnifying glass option here, which is actually called Preview. Edit just allows you to change the name. Preview will allow you to enter and create your workflow. So from here, I'm going to add a new object to it. We've just got a blank screen in front of us, so we can just add a new option. So the first thing we can do is apply a schedule, so we can see different options available to us if the caller calls in outside of working hours. So the first thing we're going to do is check working hours. So what we've got is you can set these working hours within a schedule. I'm just going to use one that's already there, so I'm going to go to main hours, and there'll be another video later on how to create those if you haven't got schedules created already. So that's our first object, and that gives us two options. So if it's out of working hours, it goes down this path, and if it's within working hours, it goes down this path. So we'll just give some options for out of hours. We're just going to play a message. So we go again to create our object or add an object, and then we can go play sound, and then we can say this is out of office message, and then we can select the sound file to play, and we can go to out of office messages, and again these sound files can be created by you guys, and there's another video on how to do that later in the series. So that's what happens if we're out of hours. If we're within hours, we want to play a welcome message and then give them some options. Press 1 for XYZ. So to do that, we go to add a new object, which is here, and we're going to select player sound. We can now play a welcome message and select a sound file for that. So if we go into here, we've got welcome message just there. So that's great. We've just played a welcome message, and then we've got an arrow going down underneath for what happens next. So now we need to give them some options. Again, use the plus button, go down to here, and we can choose select option. So we can give this an option, so we'll call this main menu. Got data label there, which we won't worry about at the moment. We can leave that blank. We can give them amount of time to enter options. I'm going to give them 3 seconds, and then we can define the options that they have. So press 1 for support, press 2 for sales, and then we need to explain what those options are. So here we can add a file that explains those. So this is the file that contains the instructions to press 1 and to press 2. So I'm just going to choose main menu. So that is that object defined. If we go to save, we'll then see that we get the options underneath. So we've got 1, 2, and timeout is what the T stands for. So we need to define what happens after they press 1. So again, we add a new object, and we're going to press join queue. and that gives us this option here. So this is join the support queue. And then we can put a hold time, so they can hold for, I don't know, half an hour. And then we can put down an agent whisper if we like, which we're not going to put in this instance. And then we can select the campaign that they're going to join. So join queue and save. The next one, again, this was to join sales, so we go to here, add new item, again select option, not select option, join queue. So again, this is to join sales queue. Hold time for them, we'll just give them unlimited time to hold, and we can leave the agent whisper for the time being. This just means that the agent will hear a sound file just saying you have a sales call or whatever you want them to hear. But I'm just going to leave that for the time being, we don't need it in there. And then we can say this is the sales inbound team that we want to define. So we go to save, and that's now that path defined. Then we've got the timeout, so this is if they exceed the 3 seconds that we gave them, what happens then? So what we want to do is add a new object and say we want to send them back to the main menu. So we can go into here and say go to object, and we can give that an object title. So this is timeout option, and we're sending them back to somewhere in the IVR. So I'm going to say main menu, so they hear the options again, and that is the third option defined. So let's have a look at what we've done. So basically this is a very, very simple IVR. At the beginning we checked to see whether we were within working hours. So if we're out of working hours, we get a message. If we're within working hours, we come through, we get a welcome message, hello, welcome to IPscape. Then we get some options, so press 1 for support, press 2 for sales, and then we'll join a queue if we press either one of those. So you can see that this is the queue to join the sales because we've got 2, and just follow the red arrows to see the path. If we press 1, you can see that we are joining the support team, and then with the timeout option we're just going back to this select option to re-choose the number. That was a very simple IVR that we created, but you can get a lot more complicated with that, and we've got a lot of videos on how to do that. However, the next steps to carry on in the simple vein are to watch the video how to associate the workflow / IVR with a phone number and how to add agents to that campaign. I hope this webinar was useful, and I'll see you in the next one.